Okay, welcome back. Now we're just gonna take the next step and create that door. And I'm actually gonna move that house over a little bit, get out of the way so I can see my reference picture a little better. And I'm just gonna pull this down. I'm trying to guesstimate like kind of how big. I'm thinking like, who lives in this, or how tall they are. If you want to make the door actually make sense in comparison with everything else, and things like that. So, and the door is kind of used as you can indicate the size of a structure very easily with a door. I'm duplicating that over for another like board to go around the house at some point. But right now I want to just get that shape of the door. So it has that nice round shape, but I have a square here. So what's the best way to approach that? And I will show you what I think the best way is. I'm going to duplicate another one of these off. Well, I guess I don't need to do that. We'll leave it there. So the way I would do it, or I would suggest it if you want to take this and soften it out, is just to go onto edges. And we're going to select all these edges up here and then hold Control and deselect these. And basically that's a quick way of grabbing these two top edges. And now I'm going to pull up the modeling kit and we're going to do a bevel. Okay, so we have a bevel, looks like that. Doesn't look the greatest. Let's increase the segments a little bit. Let's start and look better. Let's increase the fraction so it comes right to the point. Starting to get that shape, and just keep hitting segments. Look at that, rounded out perfectly. So maybe we'll do 8 segments, something like that. That looks pretty good. There we go. So yeah, now we have that. Let's create, see how the door looks like it kind of has an inset to it. Let's do that. There's actually, oops. We could do that. There's a few ways we could do this. We could make it look like there is an inset or make an actual inset. Let's extrude from this point. And I hit R when I select that face. And I'm just gonna get this top one lined up. I'm not worrying about the bottom one at this point because the top ones are a little bit more finicky because you have so many different points shooting off right there. And now the bottom looks kind of strange, but we can easily just grab that edge, slide it down, and grab this again, hit extrude again, and just pull it out a little bit. There we go. I might grab this back and just make the door a little thicker. So there's a pretty basic door shape. We could throw a doorknob on there. We could just draw or paint that in later. That doesn't matter too much. The other way we could do this is, say we have this door here like this, and we make this one a little bit bigger and kind of try getting the general door shape like that. Let's see, they're both selected like this. And we're gonna grab this, and I'm actually gonna do it this way. So we're going all the way down here, and I'm gonna duplicate this just to have an extra, and then we're gonna have these two together, and we're gonna go up to Mesh, Boolean, and Difference. We're gonna click the box, and then hit apply. Oh. So we want this a little bit bigger. Basically, we're just going to make a cutout, and we leave the one we got to cut as the last selection. It's set to edge. Bam. Now we have a door frame. So why did I duplicate that? Because we got the door to fit in the frame. And you can click these two, and I have my align tool shortcut here, and we're just going to line this up. And to find the align tool, because I have it as a shortcut, it's not normally in there. I believe it's somewhere along here, maybe modify, yeah, modify align tool. So that's super helpful. And now I just want to make the door a little bit, a little bit shorter than the door frame. And then also, so the benefit with this is you can have the door inset like this. We're going to center the pivot point again. And then you could put the pivot point like over in the corner here. And you got the door like open just a little bit. And that always adds a little bit of intrigue. So we can do it like that. So there's, and maybe I'll grab that, duplicate it, make it one piece by combining it. And I'm just gonna size it down a little bit. And slide it over here. So there we have a door just like that. Size is a little bit wrong and whatnot. You can just scale and size, get that right. And we're going to turn on some shadows here, just ambient occlusion, to get a little better view of these edges and things. You could also turn on this wireframe, which is pretty helpful too. So there's some different approaches to adding a door. I'm just going to grab this stuff and move it out of the way. Woo! Or move it directly in the way. I don't know. Okay, there we go. So now I kind of want to think about, I could model some of these boards, give a hint of that, but I think the more important things in the scene right now are these shields. Let's save it really quick. Let's make a shield. So I just grabbed the cylinder here. I'm going to scale it down to about the thickness shield. I hit Control A really quick. And maybe that, oh yeah, Control A. And then over here we have our subdivisions. And I'm going to put that up to 30. And since this is more for reference and not really for in-game or anything, it doesn't really matter how detailed I make this. I mean, other than you don't want to make it too detailed. Just duplicate. I do the duplication thing just so I don't have to make that basic shape over and over again in case I mess up. And now I want to either, we can create the centerpiece. There's a lot of ways we could approach this. I'm actually just going to grab these edges here, click one, then shift, double click a second one, and it selects all of them, then extrude out and pull on the blue one here. And now we have that piece. So we also want that center piece. I'm going to select all these in the center, but I don't want that bottom selection, so I'm going to line up right about there and control drag, deselect those, extrude, and then hit R, and we're going to scale right from the center. And I'm getting that ring in the center as well. You could also use the, where is it, the insert edge loop tool. But one thing about that, like you can drag from here, move it closer. Oops, let me deselect everything, insert edge loop. Usually it works, maybe I'm doing it wrong. No, yeah. So you can grab it and drag one from there, but it's hard to get one from the center if you don't already have a center one. Maybe this is inserting two edge loops, so maybe that's not true. So that's just kind of the way I plan to do it. So we're gonna go back to faces and deselect all these faces here. There's other ways to get nice selections like that, but I'm not gonna do it right now. So we could either extrude this out and bevel it or something like that, or just insert a sphere. I'm actually just gonna pull this out like this. I think if I grab the edges, double click, and do a bevel, a lot of segments. Oh, you know what I need to do? Bring this in. There we go, segments. So that kind of gets us what we want. Let's undo that again. Segments. It sort of works. Now let's do one segment. Grab that edge loop, move it down. Make sure everything's deselected. Oops, undo that. What did I go to? Yeah, all faces selected. I don't really know why I'm doing it. That doesn't seem like it's working very well. I thought the way I was approaching it would work, but sometimes that isn't the case. Maybe if I just grab all these and bevel. Actually kind of works. It's a little ridiculous, but probably would have been easier just to throw a circle on there. That does give it kind of an interesting sort of dented look and stuff. If we wanted to modify that any, we could go in here, grab some edges and kind of just edit them a little bit, scale them out. Maybe hit B, then we could do a soft selection. Grab right there. Something like that. One thing we do want to do is grab all of this here, make sure nothing's in the back, hit B again. And I want this to be kind of out a little further like that. And then another thing, we're actually gonna use the modeling tool. We're gonna put another edge loop right there. The reason for that is I want to do this, but I didn't want to make that extra edge on the outside. I want that lip inside. So see, let's pull that out. And just kind of pull this up a little bit. Though I probably shouldn't do that without having the middle selected, so undo that. Oh, I already pulled that middle up. I guess let's ignore that. Let's pull it up, get about the thickness we want. So some things to make this look a little nicer, we could add some nice bevels to these edges and just do like a single segment in about 0.3. That looks nice. I will scale the whole thing a little thicker, I guess. That's pretty nice. That's pretty much what I was looking for. I'm gonna delete that other one. I mean, the scale is very off, but that's all right. Put that up here. And then here's where scale, just gonna scale it down to, I want it to kind of be a little bit of an oversized shield. Duplicate that. Put this one over here. Okay. Let's make the rest of the door frame really quick. I kept that block over here for a reason. Duplicate that over. And you see the door frame, I actually want that to be kind of a little bit different than everything else. I want it to stick out a little more. Go like that. Just grab these top pieces, get about the top of the door. Duplicate it, move it over, duplicate it, move it up, and get it to be about the right thickness. And move that to here. I'm actually gonna grab, oops, I grabbed the wrong one. And here's where we'll select drag like that, and we're gonna deselect like that. And I'm gonna put it right about there. Have these about there. And we're just gonna grab the whole thing, lift it up. Maybe have the door stick out a little further. And we're gonna hit this button up here. That lets you select multiple points and stuff without having a mesh combined. There we go. Though technically, now I'm looking at my drawing looks like that, but I really should actually have this be done like this instead. And hit this again. Because just basic construction tells you that this is stronger than the other thing. You need so many nails and et cetera, just to get that to work. This is a much better structurally sound object. And we're actually make the header or head. I think this is called a header on Windows and such. There we go. Okie dokie. That's done. Okay. Let's just go ahead and throw some of the boards and stuff around this anyways. It's a lot of extra detail, but that's fine. Let's do it anyways. It adds some nice stuff. We're gonna ignore these top pieces for now. I'll mainly focus on, we're gonna set center the point, click. Focus on getting a variety of width on these boards. This is all happening above the doorway. Just gonna move the shield out of the way for a little bit. Probably didn't need to make the shield right away. Put this one here. one over. Go a little bit thinner, a little bit wider. Grab all of these. Hit that button. Scale them to the max. And notice problems immediately. That should be fine. It's under there pretty far. We're going to deselect that. Move that down, deselect, move it down, deselect. That should be fine. And there we go for that. And these other ones are actually going in this direction. Oh, another thing we want to do, I'll have these inset a little bit. There, so the door frame takes precedence. I'm going to center the pivot point again. Hit Control S to save. And then we're just going to put these in here. And we're going to throw them in pretty quick. Actually going to do this a little differently. We're just going to put these all in at the same size. And I'm leaving gaps intentionally because I just want those to come through on the render. And do all of these all the way up. All the way to the top. Oops. And I'm going to select all of these, and I'm going to deselect everything else that I accidentally selected. Not accidentally really, but so you can tell it's all that stuff selected. And I'll slide it in a little bit. And actually, it was too wide. Go like that. Okay, I'm actually going to combine this really quick. Don't really have to center pivot, but I will. And now we're going to go into this front view. Turn on, I hit the space bar to jump views like that. I'm going to turn on the grid points. And now instead of just like resizing everyone, we're actually just going to go across and just kind of similar process, just a little different approach. Here we can actually do this as well. Bring these in. Deselect. This actually might be better to do from the top. Oops. Oop, grabbing and pulling that from the wrong indicator there. Deselect those. There we go. Go back to that front view. And now I want these to look a little more, not so pristine. So I'm actually just moving these around pretty much at random. Maybe I'll even grab some and make some cracks bigger than others. Actually, I could just duplicate this. Oops. Slide it over here. And I'm just going to rotate this around and get a little bit different. I'm going to delete these pieces here. Grab those. And I'm holding scale, and we're just scaling those all together and sliding them in. There we go. And since we're viewing this from this side of the building, let's actually do this side too. So what's a good trick to line all these up again? Grab them all, hit R, scale them, and just keep scaling until they won't scale anymore. There we go. I'm just going to delete these few extras. And it's okay in our case if it dips below the actual surface. There. I'm noticing that, well, I guess looks like my structure is not quite sized correctly. There's a lot of extra wood wall there, so let's adjust that really quick. Select everything. What's the best way to actually do this? Maybe the indicator, choose where. There. Let's grab these. Grab the top ones. I'm just going to delete that one, duplicate this one, move it back. Now this overhang's a little bit too long, so let's try grabbing it and just sliding it in a little. Kind of like a little bit extra, yeah, something like that. Looks pretty good. Actually want to make this one a little longer. And I also was thinking I want to take this, I hit this button, and I actually want this whole thing to be out further. Yeah, nice overhang there. Grab the backside, do a little bit there. Hit save, take that shield, give it kind of that off-centered look. Maybe make it a little thicker. Let's use this and we can move it around into its place. And also, if you notice, there is another piece of wood that I was planning on adding at some point here. It just goes along this point here. Maybe it's a little too thick. There we go. And there we go. And maybe this will come out a little further. Maybe line it like that. Duplicate it. Rotate it around. There we go. Pull it into place. This is, this can be kind of tedious work as you go along, but it's really relaxing to me. I could show a way of kind of how I would approach this if I was actually texturing and stuff, but we're just going to use basic coloring and things. So in the next episode, I'm just gonna, we'll probably do the little bucket there and the X. So I'll see you in episode 3. Subscribe for updates and everything. Okay, take care.